Hey guys, it's me, Greg, and I'm back with another video after 5 years, I think. So today I wanted to make a video talking about probably the biggest Michael Jackson related thing that's happened in a while, which is the recent release of the biopic, which of course has made a crap ton of money, done really well, been successful to say the least. And yeah, I kind of was like, I should make a video about it. So I wanted to kind of just make a video talking about my thoughts on the movie and yeah, just kind of discussing my thoughts. So yeah, let's get into it. So background, before we get into the, my opinions, I think it is important to kind of establish the movie's timeline and like how long it took to kind of go from being conceived or being announced to completing production, which has been a story upon itself. I mean, if you haven't heard, it's gone through so many different revisions, different things have happened. I think the movie, from what I remember, was announced in like late 2019. And like, of course, the director was like the same people that worked on Bohemian Rhapsody. I think Graham King was announced. When I first heard about this movie coming out, I was a little bit cautious. I mean, first of all, when it was announced in 2019, that was a pretty rough year to be a Michael Jackson fan. So that kind of made me feel cautious. And then, of course, there's also just, you're talking about a story that is like 50 years, very long, very storied. People have so many different opinions. I mean, there's so many rumors, so much you have to kind of discuss, be it like the skin disorder or the surgeries, but also kind of having the focus on the music itself. So like, I was like, I don't know how they're going to manage to fit a story so long, so well documented as well. I mean, we're talking about one of the most popular, successful, well documented from fans, from the press. I mean, I don't know how, when I heard they were doing this movie, I was like, how are they going to, cram so much into 2 hours? But yeah, in 2023, they announced Jafar as the actor, which made me feel a lot better because that's another concern I had too. I was kind of like, who are they going to get to play Michael Jackson? He's such a unique person, and there's such a unique mannerism, the way he interacted with people, the way he kind of was the aura, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. So I was like, how are they going to find someone who could capture that and make you, the audience, believe that that is Michael Jackson for 2 hours? So when they announced Jafar, I was like, okay, they got someone that's in the family, someone who looks close enough to him, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, this makes me feel a lot more enthusiastic about the movie. After they announced that, there's, of course, that was like 2023, so this has like been 3 years in the making. At first, the movie had to kind of be put on the back burner for a while because there was these strikes going on regarding production crew and people in Hollywood, like the SAG, AFTRA. I'm hoping I'm saying this right. I don't know like how you pronounce it. The whole guild of like people that work in the industry, there was like this whole big strike. It was a big news story at the time, so the movie had to be delayed. That's already one hindrance against the movie before it even started. And then they finished filming the movie, and then like it was announced for, there was 2 different dates they had before they decided on April 22nd of this year. Like it was supposed to come out last April, like in 2025, and then like pushed it back again and for October. And then again, it was like just no promotion at all, no transparency what was going on. Fans were in the dark. People were like, what the fuck is going on with this movie? Like, why is it not coming out? And then it sort of started to kind of come out that there was this legal clause. So for those of you who aren't aware, the movie was originally supposed to, from what I can gather, be kind of like from Jackson 5 to probably around maybe history era. But it was supposed to like talk about the 93 case and the way that unfolded, which involved obviously the settlement. So the movie was going to originally kind of tackle, of course, the allegations and also that settlement. But somehow, and I don't know how, I would think with a movie this big, with like $150 million on the line, a movie being funded by Lionsgate, huge amount of attention, positive or negative, on it. There's so many people kind of wondering what this movie is going to be. I'm a little bit shocked they kind of didn't look about what they could and could not discuss in the movie. They had to do reshoots of the movie because they couldn't delve into that situation the way they wanted to. Yeah, so that whole segment, the whole pretty much anything post-bad, they kind of just scrapped, which we'll get into. Eventually, they finally announced the movie was coming out. Trailer started coming out. Posters started going up. And the movie was officially announced for April of this year. And, again, we're talking about, like, at this point, like 7 years of just waiting for this damn movie to come out. I got to the point where I was just like, I'm so ready for this movie to just come out. I want to just see it just so I can say, I saw it, it happened, we can move on. which I guess that leads me to another point. When the movie came out, I was a little bit skeptical because the critics, of course, tore it apart, which I kind of expected. I mean, it's a Michael Jackson movie that's pro Michael Jackson, and we know how the media is. I mean, if you've been a fan for like any extended period of time, if you've done like any type of just looking into his life and seeing the way the media has treated him for probably the past like almost 40 years, it didn't really shock me. I mean, I was shocked by how negative, extremely negative it was. Like, when I saw these reviews just tearing into it, calling it a piece of shit, saying it was propaganda, I was like, I don't know what the fuck this movie is going to be. I didn't know what to expect. So I was just like, let me just go into this without any pre-established expectations, which of course I had some because, I mean, again, you're talking about a movie about someone who I've been a fan of for pretty much my entire life. There's certain things I want to see. There's certain things I know they're probably not going to show. Certain things where I was just like not really expecting them to kind of acknowledge. So anyway, it kind of leads me to finally what my thoughts on the movie are. Long story short, I thought the movie was good. I thought it was a really great movie. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. I kind of had some ideas, but at the same time, I'm also, you don't know until you see it, like what this movie is going to be. I think Jafar Jackson, of course, nailed Michael Jackson. There was times where I was watching the movie and it kind of was hard for me to even separate that this was not Michael Jackson, which is crazy. Again, if you're a fan, you've seen so much footage of Michael Jackson, you've watched performances a billion times, you've seen interviews like a crap ton of times, you kind of understand who the person is. So to kind of see an actor be him, you kind of think like they're not gonna be able to nail it, but he did a great job. I mean, there's times where I like legit almost kind of forgot that I was watching not Michael Jackson, which again, I think that's a good thing for a movie like this because you want to be immersed. You want to like really feel like you're watching the story of the person being discussed. That also brings me to the rest of the cast, which I think did a great job as well. I think Coleman Domingo as Joe Jackson was really, he did a great job. His interpretation of Joe, it is kind of different from like the interpretation we got from the Jacksons in American Dream miniseries. I can't remember the actor who played Joe in that, but his version of Joe was a lot more emotive, like extreme emotions.
Get in the car! Baby.
But I mean, if you've seen both, you kind of understand what I'm getting at, I hope. I liked it though. It was a different interpretation and I kind of was like, okay, that's not what I would have expected. And I mean, again, that's like kind of like a criticism too. It seems like they kind of didn't go into as much detail about Joe's strong reported abuse against the family, of Michael in particular, which he was very vocal about.
Did he ever beat you? Yes, he did. Yes. And that was difficult to take, getting beaten and going on stage and performing. Yes.
I mean, as a character, I think he did a great job. Like, again, you kind of understood for what the story was trying to be, it worked for the movie, I feel like. So, and again, he nailed it. Like, I would have never guessed that was Coleman Domingo because, like, he did makeup and everything. He embodied a different person, which is what you want an actor to do, I think. So, I think he nailed it. Which, I mean, Nia Long as Catherine, I don't think she got as much screen time as I probably would have preferred because I feel like Catherine's also a very important part of the Michael Jackson story in the way he was. Like, she was a huge influence over the way he was. But I mean, again, she did a great job. I mean, the whole crew did great. Even the kid who played Michael Jackson, Giuliano Baldi, I think is how you say his name. I hope I'm saying it right. He also did a great job. I mean, there were times where, like, again, you felt like you were seeing Michael Jackson. I was very like pleased with the acting and the way the makeup and everything. Like they nailed it. But I guess that also kind of leads me to certain characters that were not in the movie, which I think was a major criticism and a pretty valid criticism, which I think the main one being Janet Jackson, which of course I have like a poster of her in the background because I'm a huge fan of her as well. That's a pretty major omission. I mean, also Reevie, the older sister of the Jackson family, she's not in the movie. Randy, you know, the youngest brother who also wrote a ton of the big hits of the Jacksons albums. He co-wrote Shake Your Body Down to the Ground. Can You Feel It? Like big moments for that period of Michael's career and the Jackson family's career. And I think it's also probably why in certain scenes of the movie, scenes that should include those songs. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, but there's a scene at the very end of the movie that is like from the Victory Tour where Michael kind of announces that he's leaving the group to kind of pursue a solo career. In real life, the real song was Shake Your Body Down to the Ground. But in the movie, they didn't use that song. They used Working Day and Night. My only guess is Randy didn't want to be a part of the movie and they didn't want to use any songs that included Randy in it. I mean, that's my only guess as to why they wouldn't use that song. That's a major discrepancy regarding stuff, and I'll get more to discrepancies I have because there's a lot. There's a ton of stuff where I'm like, that's not accurate. But again, back to other people that weren't in the movie. I mean, Diana Ross, that famously, there's this whole, the actress that played her posted about it that her scenes were cut. No one really knows why. She was a big part of periods of Michael Jackson's career. I mean, The Wiz is a pretty major turning point in Michael Jackson's career. Like, that's where he met Quincy Jones, and they kind of began that string of albums, Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. So that I mean, again, is a pretty important part of the story that we just don't really see. Some other people that worked with Michael Jackson were kind of undermined. Like, Quincy Jones wasn't really a big character in the movie. Bruce Whedon, there's like a cameo of him in like one scene, but like he doesn't have like any dialogue. But I will say one thing I also really liked about this movie was that Bill Bray was included a lot in the movie. Like, that kind of surprised me. I was not expecting Bill Bray to be acknowledged like in any extreme way, and like he's a key character in the movie, so that kind of shocked me a lot. There's been so many interpretations of the Michael Jackson story, and I feel like Bill Bray doesn't really get acknowledged or his flowers that much, so I was kind of surprised to see that, and that made me like really happy. Oh, another thing I loved about the movie too was they filmed on location at Havenhurst. I like that they filmed at Havenhurst. Like, that made me feel that to me as a fan was nice to see, because like I don't think there's been a lot of footage. I mean, there's been clips here and there, but like there hasn't been like a huge house tour of like Havenhurst and like what it was. So to kind of see it in like film quality was really nice and really exciting as a fan to see. Oh, another thing I love too, I think the movie did a great job of showing Michael Jackson as a person. They showed the characterization of Michael Jackson in the movie, I felt was good. I liked it. It didn't feel like I was watching a caricature of Michael Jackson. It showcased a lot of like his humanitarianism at times. Like, there's like a bunch of scenes showing him visiting orphanages and hospitals. And there's like, of course, the Pepsi incident. There's like a scene of him in the hospital and like he's talking to a burn patient. So I like that they really did put like a big spotlight on that aspect. I feel like they probably could have put more of a spotlight on it, because I don't think it was explored as much as they probably should have. Okay, well, I look a little bit different. I had to troubleshoot a bunch of things. My phone ran out of storage because, of course, it did. So anyway, here we are. But yeah, I was talking about the humanitarianism that the movie showcased. I really did enjoy that aspect, and I think they did a great job of putting a spotlight on that. Another thing that I really did appreciate the movie doing was putting some Easter eggs for hardcore fans. At the beginning, when they were showing like Havenhurst, like the casino home, and showing Michael Jackson's bedroom, there's like the establishing shot, or they're moving into it. There's like a little image on like the wall that like shows a drawing he did that's like, I think it was in Jermaine Jackson's book. It's like a drawing of a soldier with like his arms spread out saying "Stop the War." And I noticed that like immediately. I was like, oh my God, I love that they included that. Like, they just put these little details here and there. Like, I think also during the montage of them recording Thriller, they showed like sticky notes of like different song titles. But like, there's a few that I did kind of detect. I can't remember off the top of my head what they were, but like there were some where I was like, okay, that I've seen that title before somewhere. I think it was like Rolling the Dice or something, which I've heard that title before. So again, like, there's little details that like if you're a hardcore fan, you will kind of get a lot out of. And I mean, there's a few other details like that too. I'm trying to think of like another good example, but they had elements of that which showed me that they really did care enough to put that in there for fans, which I appreciate. Oh, and another thing too, which this kind of surprised me, but John Branca's character, I feel like unanimously the fan community was kind of critical of that decision to have him be a big character played by Miles Teller in the movie. I was kind of weary of John Branca being a big character because, again, like, is he going to inflate his ego? And I mean, there are parts where I do feel like, he's trying to kind of make himself look good. But again, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I will just say, I do think there's a disproportionate amount of time spent on him compared to, other people who were as important, if not more important than him. I mean, Frank DeLeo, who was Michael Jackson's manager during the later half of Thriller and like Bad, nowhere to be found in this movie, to my knowledge. If he was not acknowledged by name. Like I said earlier, Quincy Jones and Bruce Whedon, who were key players in the Michael Jackson story musically, they're not acknowledged at all. Rod Temperton, I don't even think is even a character in the movie. Again, family members are not in the movie, so it is a little iffy. Like, why does he get so much attention, but like, why not, people that are also family? That's a whole nother thing too. A big period of this movie, like, of his life, and this doesn't surprise me. I kind of would have been surprised if they acknowledged this period because it's rarely given the time of day, and it's unfortunate because it is a very important part of the story, I feel like. But the period between the movie skips a significant amount. Like at the very beginning, it kind of stops at 72-ish, 71, 72, and it skips ahead to Off the Wall. So again, it's like a good like 6 years that we're just not acknowledging at all. And again, a pretty significant amount of time. Dancing Machine, them kind of having their career ebb and flow, but also Ben, which is like his first solo #1 hit, that's not acknowledged at all. Well, actually it is, but like not, it's like a performance scene. So it's like, again, it's kind of like acknowledged, but not really like acknowledged why it's significant. Stuff like Moving Violation and Get It Together, like that whole era, not acknowledged at all. His solo stuff, musically, there are songs from this period used in the movie. Like I think Dogging Around is used in one scene, which surprised me. Some stuff from the Jacksons' first album. Yeah, Dreamer. I want to say Style of Life, but I could be wrong. There's another song from that era that is used. Songs from that period are used in the movie, which I was kind of surprised about because, not to get on like another tangent while I'm trying to end this tangent, the soundtrack album that came out, of course, I bought like 3 copies of. Actually, I bought like a crap ton more copies. The soundtrack is pretty bare bones. I mean, it's like, just the main songs from the movie. The stuff I just mentioned, like Dogging Around, that's not on the soundtrack. The Jackson stuff, that's not up there. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Skip over the Jacksons. They skip over Going Places. They don't acknowledge Destiny at all. I don't think either. They do acknowledge Triumph, but again, it's kind of also weird. This bothered me. Like they mentioned Jermaine leaving the group while talking about doing the Triumph tour to kind of like show like Michael trying to break away, but the family's trying to keep him in the fold a little bit. But again, by that point, Jermaine had not been in the group for like 5 years. While we're on the subject, there's so many other discrepancies in the movie that bothered me a lot. The biggest one, and I mean, it was such a big discrepancy that in the credits, they have like a little disclaimer. It says like something that kind of sets the record straight on this fact. But there's a scene, this whole scene, so many factual errors of them, the Jackson 5 performing in 68 at the Regal Theater. As the story goes, they performed before Gladys Knight and the Pips. She tried to get the group signed to Motown. They weren't interested. And then later on, they performed again at the Regal Theater. And I think Bobby Taylor, he also saw the talent in the group and tried to get into Motown. In the movie, they kind of just don't acknowledge Gladys Knight or Bobby Taylor at all. Like their contributions to discovering the group are not acknowledged at all. But then on top of that, they're performing Never Can Say Goodbye, which is a song that they did not record or release until 71. It's just like, that's a pretty major timeline issue. And then on top of that, I mean, there's other scenes too, like the Human Nature scene, which became like a big meme on like Instagram and TikTok. The audio they used for that Victory Tour scene, it's from the Bad Tour, which is years later. If you hear Human Nature during the Victory Tour, it's, sounds different. I think it's a little, just different instrumentation and stuff. So I'm guessing the reason they used the Wembley audio is because that concert has been released officially by the estate and they have the audio and it's easier to just kind of pull from something they already digitized. But again, I'm also, the fan of me is like, you could have used real audio. I mean, it's out there. And also fans would have ate it up. I would have loved for them to put on the soundtrack that version of the song because we don't have that released officially. But again, it is what it is. Which I guess that also kind of leads into another thing too. The movie, it's a good movie, but I feel like it also kind of assumes the audience, a lot about the story to kind of fill in the blanks because, again, some stuff is just kind of glossed over. Some stuff isn't really acknowledged. I mean, I'm kind of surprised like Thriller, which is a major part of his career. I mean, it's the biggest album ever to this day. So you kind of think they would sort of showcase why he made the album, what was kind of the reason he had the fire in him to make that album. Because, I mean, the story goes, Michael made Off the Wall, hugely successful. It was the biggest selling album by a Black artist at the time, which I don't think people really realize. But at the Grammys, he kind of got reduced to it being just an R&B album. So the only categories he was nominated for were R&B, soul, again, Black categories. He was basically being confined into the R&B Black artist box, stay in your lane type thing. And he, again, was like, well, I'm going to make an album that's so big that they can't ignore me, which is what led him to make Thriller. And again, the album has so much crossover appeal. Like there's rock, there's pop, there's dance, there's post-disco. I mean, there's so adult contemporary, soul. I mean, there's so much on that album that is like, it has something for everybody. So again, I kind of wish they would have put more emphasis on that, because again, Thriller is such a big album, but I feel like a lot of the mainstream public would love to see, why is the album so great? What gave him that fire to make that album be the way it was? Because I mean, it's a huge album and it continues to just resonate with people. So I think that would have been a great element to add. And also, I mean, it would have put the emphasis on his art, which is where I think, again, when you talk about Michael Jackson, that constantly gets minimized, his impact on art. And he's such an important artist. There are kids who weren't even alive when he died. You know what I mean? Like, so I think this movie would have been great to kind of introduce them to him in a better way. They could have done more, I feel like. I mean, for what it is, it does its job, and the movie's successful anyway, so what the hell do I know? But I wish they kind of focused more on contextualizing, why is this important? Why is this so impactful? Why do we continue to resonate with this art so many years after the fact? So yeah, I mean, overall, I think the movie was good and better than I expected it to be. Again, when I saw those reviews, I was like, maybe they are valid, but then again, I mean, when the musical came out, the same situation happened. Critics tore it apart, said it didn't acknowledge this, said it was propaganda, and it's like, but again, tangent aside, I think the movie is great for what it is. Do I have my criticisms? Yes. Do I wish it was better? Yes. Do I wish it acknowledged other elements of his life? Yes. So I also didn't even acknowledge that. I think the movie ends way too abruptly. Like, I think it going from the Victory Tour to him performing Bad at the Bad Tour, there's like a good 4 years there that we don't acknowledge. And I mean, a pretty important 4 years too. I mean, Bad, first of all, that's an important album in his career as well. But also, the perception of him was changing. You know, that's when like the Skin Disease became more visible to the public, and the rumors of him being ashamed of his race and trying to be more white or trying to appear more androgynous or whatever it was. They could have maybe shown some of that too. I feel like there's elements that I hope if they do a part 2, they kind of delve into. I would love to, have the attention be on just the positives of his life and acknowledge only his art. But even then, his art acknowledges the hardships that he went through. History, if you talk about the 90s and his art, you kind of have to. I mean, Ghost, the whole short film, is legit an allegory for the bullshit he was going through. So you kind of have to sort of sink your teeth into it regardless. But yeah, I hope if they do a part 2, I want them to really find some way to acknowledge all of it. I'm not expecting the movie to inform people and set the record straight, because I don't think a biopic can do that. But I would love for it to humanize him a little bit more, acknowledge the bullshit he had to go through, because he went through a lot of bullshit. So I would love to see that also acknowledged, but also put the attention on his art as well, and it kind of show like how the art acknowledged the bullshit. And there's a lot I would want from a part 2 if they do one. So yeah. But again, for what this movie is, I think it's good. I think I would give it like a 6. I mean, it's great. I have major criticisms with it, but again, the movie was way better than I expected when they announced it, and I'm pleased with it. So I think it's good for what it is. It's really also exciting to see this movie resonate with people who aren't even hardcore fans, like seeing these younger people like Gen Alpha and people that also were fans but kind of fell off the bandwagon, or they aren't hardcore fans who own 50 different versions of Thriller, which, again, guilty as charged. But you know what I mean? I like that it's kind of reminding people of his artistry. I would love for him to do a part 2 and to kind of, again, continue his story, show more of his story, put more of an emphasis on his greatness. I mean, I don't think he deserves to have this moment, I feel like. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on the movie. I would love to know what your thoughts are. Like, what do you agree with? What do you disagree with me on? Like, do you feel the same way about certain things that I do? Do you kind of have more criticisms than I do? Do you hate the movie? I mean, I would love to kind of know like what your take on the movie is. Again, I'm really pleased with what it is. I'm also glad that we're kind of at a point where we can kind of move on, because again, long 7 years to get to this point. So, but yeah, I would love to hear your opinions. So yeah, that kind of wraps up this video, and yeah, thank you for watching, and subscribe. I don't know, watch another video. I don't know, do whatever you want to do. But yeah, until next time, bye.